Sapphire gave a quick prayer to any gods that would listen. What were they going to do? They had 3 Huntresses out and about, and 3 dragons coming in. Sapphire really hoped they were indeed friendly. They had never been attacked by a dragon in all of her years. In fact, not even in all of Nanook's years. Still, they didn't even have landing facilities for 3 dragons. Archon and Jax alone would be a tight squeeze, and the red dragon that was incoming was apparently even larger, if it was indeed Archon and Jax. Maybe Jax had brought along a friend to witness his first deployment, and the red one wasn't actually that big. If it was even larger than Archon and wearing armour, they were dealing with a true beast of war, and likely a veteran of countless battles. What could bring a dragon like that to their backwater keep? The answer to that just might be even more terrifying, so she elected to not dwell on that part. Tom had told her to cross her fingers for luck whenever he tried one of his experiments. It made it rather hard to get her armour on, but she did it anyway. Normally when preparing for battle, you would be getting hyped up putting your equipment on. She just felt like she was preparing to look presentable before going to heaven. If they were hostile, they didn't stand a chance, especially not if they had escorts with them, which would be more than likely. She had been taking care of the children while Tom worked on the distillery thing with Shiva and the others when the bell rang. She had herded them all into the library with a puma, where he could keep an eye on them for her. She just hoped it wasn't the last time she got to see them all. She reported down to the Grand Hall with a new bow ready to fight. They wouldn't even be trying to intercept them. They were to barricade the doors and wait for them to attack first. Rachuk would be taking the armory and may the gods help them. And Tom had the tower, not that he knew that yet. Kakashi had been sent back up to tell him and lend a hand. The rest of them would be trying to hold the halls. Nanook wasn't in her armour, nor was she fit for any sort of fight. If only Dakota had been here, she might have been allowed to use it, since it would never fit Rachuk. Then Unkai and Calling Her had come down carrying all the pieces. "Looks like the old lady is set and done in battle," Jackalope said, trying to joke. Jackalope still only had one good hand, so she couldn't use a bow. She grabbed a warhammer instead. She wasn't much of a swordswoman, but brute force did go well with a hammer. "Sapphire, get over here!" Nanook shouted out from behind her. She turned, running over to see if there was anything she could help with. "Get that off!" I'm sorry, but..." "Get it off, I said! You're the only one here who will fit, for Pete's sake!" Sapphire stood stunned for a second. That Nanook would even consider that. "Yes, ma'am." She got off the armoured skirt and breastplate as quickly as possible, handing her crown to Unkai. They began helping her don the armour. She had tried some of the armour the guards used for training, and even done a bit of sparring in it for fun. It was a little similar, but she had never really fought, nor even been trained in how to fight wearing something like this. Nor was she ever supposed to, for that matter. And she was expected to fight dragons in it? She was going to die. Perhaps she should have let Kieran fly, at least she would have gone to see it then. When they were in the middle of doing up the chestplate, Kakashi came stumbling back down the stairs. "Flag of the Royal Guard! The idiots forgot to roll it out!" Oh, thank whoever would care to listen. Ishan would wait a while longer. But why are there 3 of them? And who's the red one? Tom asked the clearly baffled Heron. "How should I know? We were just expecting Jarex." Heron was back in his usual calmer self. An impressive feat considering they still had a giant red dragon clad in enough metal to solve their problems for quite a while. "You're sure they aren't fucking with us?" "You think it's a trick?" Heron didn't seem convinced. He brought up the binoculars. "That looks like Archon, though. You think he would be part of it?" "No, that didn't seem right." "You sure it's Archon?" "Well, it's a trader, all right. He's covered in crates." "That would have to do." "I wonder where they are going to land, though. Hopefully they aren't going to be staying long." Well, they should know before too long. They were making good speed and no more than 2 minutes out. It didn't take too long after Kakashi had left before Balathon stuck his head up the hatch and climbed up. By now, Tom didn't need the binoculars anymore. He'd only seen the one dragon, but that did look a bit like Archon, alright. "Should we head down?" "Nah, not until they land. We need to know what's up." Heron was already leaning on the shotgun like a true professional. Tom cleared his throat a bit, and he snapped back to attention. "The barrel doesn't point at anything you don't want to destroy. Do you not like your face?" "Sorry," Heron went, bringing the gun up to hold like Tom had shown him. They stood and stared, while the wedge formation of the 3 came around the keep, settling down where they could between the buildings down on the ground. That was definitely Archon, and there was Volson on his back, along with a few more dragonettes, including a now peg-leg-equipped Captain Tyborg. The big red one had quite the entourage too. A quick count gave 7 dragonettes, all in full armour, and 3 in what looked more like fine common clothes. The younger dragon, which Tom assumed must be Jarek's, had only 2 passengers, who clambered off but remained by Jarek's side. The ones in armour from the red dragon formed a line of 6 in front of their dragon and stayed there, the dude who appeared to be in charge based on the fanciness level for their armour, going with the common clothed people. They met up with Volson and Tyborg, the rest of Volson's guards remaining with Archon. What is going on down there? I have no clue. Heron just went looking down. Then Kakashi stuck his head back up. What are they doing? You tell me, look. Tom went pointing at the rather scary collection. Kakashi got up and looked down, studying them all for a bit. Well, those 3 aren't royal guards, that's for sure. That must be Jarek's and possibly some ground crew. Volson likely hire some new guards to make up the numbers. Shh, they are speaking. Tom went quiet as a mouse, and Heron leaned up against the wall. Kakashi seemed to concentrate deeply, and Tom could once again see that flickering in his eyes. He wondered if that was for a dramatic effect or just a part of it. Knowing Kakashi, both were perfectly possible. After a bit, his ears dropped. Uh-oh, the guy in the robes there. Kakashi pointed at the groups of people, seemingly not figuring out there was no way Tom could figure out who he was pointing at. His name is Blacksun, and he ain't happy. Oh, shit. Following confirmation, they were about to have esteemed visitors rather than a fight for their lives. They quickly got Sapphire back out of the Nook's armour. She had been allowed to wear a set of genuine enchanted battle armour. One of Legends, too. Well, she had mostly worn it. She hadn't even gotten the helmet on, in fact. But still, that was a show of trust she would not soon forget. Neither would Jackalope, of course. She would make sure of that. Now, though, activity was equally as frantic as everyone was scrambling to try and make the place look presentable. The outer door was slowly cranked open, and Kullinger sat downstairs to inform Chook of the situation. Sapphire looked around. Everyone was clearly geared for battle rather than appearance. Not even the Nook was that presentable right now. This might be the most embarrassing visit they had had in a long time. Then Heron just had to make it worse as he came down to inform them somebody named Blacksun was here, and they weren't happy. Right then, they wish to challenge our trial. Sapphire, Jackalope, as presentable as you can manage, please. Heron, get the 2 down for the tower. Chook made it up the stairs just in time to receive her attention. Chook, get your guards in order. They want to challenge our ruling, I think. Get the tainted armour and the blade, I'll go get the earrings. Yes, mother, Unkai with me. Sapphire was left standing there, a bit confused at everything that was going on. Do we prepare a meal or something? She tried asking. That can wait. Actually, go help Heron with Tom. And try and make him as presentable as possible, but keep him out of sight for now. Yes, ma'am, she replied, turning to go up the stairs. How was she supposed to make Tom presentable for what sounded like a full delegation for the capital, in a matter of minutes? As she went up, the others came back down the other way. She explained the Nook wanted Tom hidden for the moment, and looking as best he could. Not sure what else to do, she took them to her bedroom, to see if they could figure something out. Didn't I look good enough last time? Have the cloak now too? Tom questioned. Last time was a traitor we knew well, and you did manage a good first impression. Volson called me hideous when he first saw me, I think. Right. A good second impression then. This is a delegation from the capital, likely angry that we executed Dashu, so you need to be on your best behaviour and go for a good first impression this time. Right, got it. First of all, lose the boots, they're ugly. Go barefoot. But just do it. Fine. Get the helmet off. Where's your crown? Children's bedroom. Right, Heron, fetch. Right away. Heron left the room at an uncharacteristically brisk pace. Perhaps even he was excited today. Was that Tom's shotgun he was carrying? You gave him your shotgun? But why him? He was standing next to me and dragons were coming. Tom answered in a shrug. Sapphire didn't even try to hide her scowl as she let her ears hang. Hey, I'm sorry. You didn't get to shoot it. Tom tried to cheer her up. She just scoffed and got back to work. At least he had all his armour on already. Can you do something with your hair? It's going everywhere and it's brown. It really was a mess. What kind of nightmare was this? The badass warrior woman had turned into a grumpy hairdresser who was also stressed enough to outcompete with the Greek economy. Why was it they kept changing their mind on whether he looked good enough? Couldn't they just set a bar and be done with it? Don't think so. Maybe do what Fengi did? He had no clue how to do his hair. He rarely even combed it. Sapphire seemingly not figured out pulling on someone's hair was rather painful, or maybe that was his punishment for letting Heron have the shotgun. Granted, she was likely used to skinning anything that had hair, but still. Ow, that's a lot, you know. Sorry, not sorry. There we go. 2 sort of shitty horns. Now get those boots off. The underboot things too. Why did it have to be his boots? The keeper had stone floors and she didn't even let him keep his socks on for God's sake. He didn't much enjoy having freezing cold feet, not to mention they hadn't been washed since the lake. If only he had brought a pair of white socks. Oh my god, they smell! Why do your feet smell that bad? She even backed off, holding a hand over her snout. Long time in boots, Tom just answered half-heartedly. Come on, it wasn't that bad. Even if Kieran had attacked them one night while he slept, believing them to be some sort of foul creature, maybe he should bathe a bit more. Damn dragonettes and their no sweating. We don't have time for a bath. Damn it, Tom, they stink. She did sound genuinely frustrated at that. Sorry, they just do. She just let out a deep sigh. Right, we need to get some jewelry on you. What have I got? She began to look through drawers, getting out what loose stuff she had, and began the process. Heron had returned with Tom's crown, just as she finished with the last thing she had. This just won't do, Heron. Get Jackalope. She has some extra stuff too. Heron nodded and departed again, with a little less urgency this time. I'm not looking like that in front of important people, Tom protested. He knew full well where this was going. Oh, yes you are. Now let's go, we likely don't have long. Heron was back in a matter of seconds, but with Nanook in tow instead. By the god, that is a miserable sight, the old lady let out. Tom couldn't help but agree. Is that all we got? No, not like that. It's all I got, Sapphire replied in a half tone. The lady wrinkled her snout a bit. The others are out, well, except Jackalope, whom I sent Heron to go get. She shot Heron a look that might be fatal to someone. Tom, you have my permission to borrow the jewelry the other lent you. I trust you can figure out the rest. Oh, god damn it. Also, he did feel a bit insulted at the pressure being placed on Borrow. He just looked at her with a contemptuous scowl. One mustn't steal. Belay that, I'm ordering you instead. Now snap to it. Yes, ma'am, he replied, in the tone of a kid ordered to clean their room. The next few minutes were spent breaking and entering into all the other Huntress' bedrooms. You need to make locks next, Sapphire had commented, after he popped open the third door in a few seconds. All he was using was his multi-tool and some bent wire. These things were jokes, just a keyhole, and a gate to prevent a key from opening the wrong door. Yeah. The hall had luckily been a bit smaller on account of the others wearing some of what he had borrowed last time. Why did he have to do this? This was his main thought, as Heron and Sapphire tag-teamed him with shiny stuff. It took a while, but they had managed to get him up to a similar level of gayness as last time. Right, that will have to do. Stay behind us. We will look ahead where they all are. They must have gone up here by now. Nanook doesn't want them to see you yet, and do try to smile. At least your teeth are white. Sapphire went finishing up. Jesus, okay. He got it.